Let's talk filmmaking gear, or at least what I think is non-negotiable when it comes to my video and film productions. A quick disclaimer up front. Most of the gear I'm gonna show you is not sexy. It won't necessarily give you that dopamine hit when you, say, open a new camera. But as we all know, it's not the camera, it's what you do with the camera. And the following items will help you level up your production so the camera can just do its thing. Now let's go into my non-negotiable items, which I, by the way, have all linked down below. Let's start with audio. If you're like me and shoot corporate interviews and ads for companies or even wedding films and rely on high quality audio, these two options have never, and I mean never ever, failed me. First, we have the Sennheiser MKE600 shotgun mic, and secondly, we have the Tascam DR10L lavalier mic. Now, I mainly use the MKE600 for client productions, both outside and inside. Listen to how it sounds outside in this ad that I made for a nursing home like 2 years ago, even though it's German.
Aber sind wir doch mal ehrlich, so ganz im Saft steht sie ja nicht für immer.
And now, listen to how it behaves inside in this corporate video.
Wir unterstützen Menschen dabei, stimmige Lösungen zu finden. Und stimmig heißt, dass dein Verhalten sowohl authentisch ist.
I pretty much didn't do any sound mixing on either of these audio tracks, and I think that says everything. So in short, it's extremely directional and therefore isolates dialogue and sound perfectly, even in uncontrolled environments like the outside. You can use it both as a boom mic or mount it on your cam, and you can battery power it or phantom power it through an external receiver. It's made out of metal and therefore it is very durable. A minor downside is it's not very cheap, and to push it to its edge, I'm talking capturing 32-bit float audio, you need an adequate recorder to do so. The one that I'm using is the Tascam Portacapture X8 with a beautiful big display, very easy to use, battery or USB powered, a lot of outputs and inputs, and very reliable as well. But now back to the microphones. The second mic I use, and I have 3 of them, is the Tascam DR10L first generation. Now, there already is a second generation, but they're so damn good, so I don't really feel like upgrading. Here's a sample of how it sounds.
Es ist nicht schwer, hierher zu kommen und das zu lieben, weil es hat so viel Charme, es hat so viel Seele und so viel Herz.
So in short, it's not just a microphone, it's also a rock-solid recorder, and it never ever failed me, ever. The ability of dual recording saves you when your talent clips the audio by talking or laughing too hard.
Ich habe schon wieder die Frage vergessen. Ich habe auch vergessen, was ich gesagt habe.
It's battery powered and it lasts so long, I never ran into problems. Minor downsides are, there's no live monitoring via Bluetooth or anything else. You just turn it on and basically trust it. Again, it never failed me or stopped during recording. And another minor downside to the Sennheiser, you can see it on your talent. And if you don't find a way to hide it without sacrificing quality of sound, you will just have to deal with that. But if I were to have just one final thought to both of these microphones, it's a buy once, never worry about it again, ever. Now, in terms of lighting, I've always used and happily did so the Amaran line of lights from Aperture with the 200X and the 200XS. Also, I used the SmallRig RC60B, which I own 2 of, and to round it up, some budget light tubes. All of them worked really well, but the problem is when I acquired all of these lights over the years, I didn't really think about building an ecosystem that works flawlessly together as a whole setup. I basically just added what I think sounded good. This changed last year though, when I made the first light switch to Zhiyun and now continue with more lights this year. And these are the lights that I own and use so far. The Zhiyun B500 that with 500 watts covers almost every realistic lighting scenario you can imagine. It only uses one power cable without any bulky adapters and stuff, and it has Bluetooth control and is very silent even at full power. A minor downside is it's fairly heavy, which is of course absolutely normal considering its power and everything built into the unit. Now, I am gonna make a dedicated video on the B500 soon, which is also by the way hitting me right now. So if you wanna see that, make sure to subscribe. Next, I've got the Zhiyun X100 RGB. I made a whole video about how to achieve cinematic shots with just that one light. I will link that up here, and I've gotta say, it's insanely powerful for its size. You can put it basically anywhere and still achieve great exposure. It's full RGB, there are tons of modifiers that help you shade the light in different ways. It's got a Bowens mount adapter for bigger softboxes, Bluetooth support, battery power as well as external power. There's so many many things to say about this light. A minor downside is the battery only lasts for like 30 minutes at full power, which is not too much for outside shoots. But of course, you can either switch the battery or power it with the ship power adapter, which I mostly do. Again, if you're interested in that light, just make sure to watch my video. I think it's a freaking good light. Now, in a future video, I will talk about the X200, which is basically the bigger brother of the X100, and also about this M20C from Zhiyun, which is a really small fill light that you can also use on camera. Now, I haven't used either of these lights too much yet, but with these lights, the whole setup from key light to edge light to fill light to whatever light you want to call it is pretty much complete. Of course, lights need stands. And my go-to light stands for as long as I do video and film are the C-stands from SmallRig. They are just so strong and durable and relatively light. I've never seen them flex, even with heavier lights like the B500 when rigged properly. In my opinion, again, it's a buy once, never worry about it again. A minor downside is they take a little more space than smaller light stands like these. And this is where this freaking game changer for me comes in. This carry bag by Newer. It's so damn huge. Everything from light stands to tripods to lights fit in here. It has a hard shell coated with a soft material, and you can decide whether you want to roll it or carry it. As of now, I own 2 of them, and all of my light stands, smaller tripods, as well as my lights and softboxes fit in here. It's not very sexy gear, I know, but honestly, I haven't been happier over gear for a while now. A minor downside though is definitely the price of around $200 each. But once I convinced myself it's better than carrying everything separately all the time, I never looked back. Onto some camera accessories. These are pieces that I've owned for years now, and again, they never failed me. First, we've got this SmallRig 99 Wh V-mount battery. I've got 2 of them, and I've been using them for a long time now, and there's literally no noticeable battery degradation since I bought them, and that alone, in my opinion, is huge. They also perform for long run times. I'm talking full shooting days. They've got multiple outputs like USB-A, USB-C, DC and D-tab. They're airline cabin safe. You can run smaller lights off of them, charge your phone with it as a power bank. Again, there's so many things to say here, but if you haven't picked one up yet, you should definitely consider it. It will make your productions a lot more convenient. A minor downside is they are of course heavier than your internal camera batteries, but yeah, that's the trade-off. Your camera rig definitely looks cooler though. Now, onto a piece of gear that I hesitated to buy for a year or so. That was 5 years ago. Since then, I never looked back, and even though the Peter McKinnon variable ND filter is slightly more expensive than its peers, it's, in my opinion, definitely the best. It doesn't have any color shift, at least not that I ever noticed. It has a smooth rotation, no vignette, and is really durable. And trust me, mine has been abused for years. I mean, I rammed it into things, I dropped it multiple times, and it still works flawlessly. Except, of course, a few scratches that don't even have an effect on the final image. A minor downside again is the price, but in my opinion, you're paying for quality here. And I think they even dropped the second version of it already. Maybe worth a look. Now, the last piece of gear that I'm using pretty much every time when I pack my camera is the SmallRig 78-inch carbon fiber video tripod. What I like about it is it's fairly lightweight due to the carbon material. It's very stable at the same time, and the fluid head actually feels very fluid. A quick release plate for your camera, as well as these 3 levers that make it really easy to adjust it to your liking. A minor downside again is the price. It's not very cheap, but of course we're not talking about a travel tripod here. It's really made for professional use. Now, before we end this video, here's a quick free bonus tip for Sony users. The monitoring and control app from Sony. It's basically a full camera control app that lets you do and dial in everything you need to set up your camera. And because you can connect it to your phone, tablet, and Mac via Bluetooth or USB-C, it can replace an external monitor in so many situations. The key advantage here really is, in my opinion, that there's no other monitor with wireless transmission gear needed. A minor downside is, if you want to have broader functions like multicam, you need to go ahead and purchase one of their plans to be able to use them. It's no real deal breaker for me at the moment, but I just wanted to let you know. Anyways, now I'm really curious. What gear do you have that you don't regret buying and still use even after years? Let me know in the comments. And I guess that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.